Hello, fellow compatriots. This is your host, Tribushon here, and today we're going to be taking a look at Lego Exo-Force Cave Smasher times 8. Now, this is basically one of the few times that I decided to go ahead and make a system-based MOC. And I've decided to go off of Exo-Force because I was feeling a little bit nostalgic. And so I wanted to go ahead and dive into system again. Now, keep in mind, I've been working with Technic for the most part of the time, so my hands can be rough. So it has nothing to do with the model, it's just that my hands can be pretty rough because I'm used to Technic and its rigidity compared to system. But with that out of the way, let's go right into it. Now, this figure does contain a minifig, so let's go ahead straight into that before we get into anything else. And he just simply slides out, neat and tidy. And it's your standard copper minifig. I never had a copper one. I've always wanted a copper one, so this was nice. And I think it goes well with the sandish brown with... It's a weird brown. I don't know what type of brown it is, but it is like a sandish type of brown with the teal and the dark bluish gray, and there's some trans orange elements within it. Now, before we get in too deep into it, let's figure out how big this thing actually is before we get into functions, because this thing actually is kind of big. So the length of this beast, hold on. So the length of this beast of Cave Smasher times 8 is about 11.5 inches long, centimeter measurement up in the corner, and the height to the crane is 8 3/4 of an inch tall, and the centimeter measurement will be up in the corner as well. Now, a thing that you probably notice, which is very apparent, is that this thing is modular. If you notice the joints, there's joints all throughout it, but first let's go into the mechanism, which is this. So this can rotate around nice and steadily. And you can extend the crane by turning the knob. And you can open and close, and it stays locked into place via tension. It's activated by a spring. And yeah, again, I could have probably built that better. I don't know why, but there we go. I got it in. And there's 2 ports over here. I had plans for it's not being the only type, but anyways, you've seen times 8, so let's go ahead into Cave Smasher times 7. So Cave Smasher times 7, you remove this, and you dismember that and loosen that up, and then that separates all together. It's a bit of a struggle because there's 3 connection ports, and then what you have right here is Cave Smasher times 7 and Cave Smasher times 6, respectively. Now and it comes with 2 turrets, as you can see. Has blasters in the hands as well, and this is supposed to be like a crab drone. As a crab drone, it's still able to roll fairly well. And it's a 2-wheeler. So it's very maneuverable, and it uses a lot of gyro sensors to balance itself. So it can go ahead and pew, 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 and attack. And as for Cave Smasher times 6, you got a little buggy, basically. And it's a fun little buggy. It still rolls, like rolling things should. Now, for... I'm not going to do measurements for all these because it's just going to take too long. But... because this is going to be a long video as it is. So, of course, with times 6, you can remove the bed if you so want to, if you don't want it to have a bed, and it can be more lightweight if you wanted to. And a special thing about Cave Smasher times 6 is that it has forward mounting cannons. So cannons can flip forward, so it can fire and attack, which is highlighted by the red connectors basically acting as guns, which is why I picked the red to begin with. But that can just fold back. Sorry about that. I'm leaning forward quite a lot just to show you all these different modules. So I'm sorry about that. So there is that. Now for the next one, we would have to actually convert it to times 5. Now, times 5 is actually a raised one. So we go ahead, do that. Add that there, move the turrets forward. Move the turret forward there. And then you got times 5. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not times 5. Hold on, that's not times 5. Times 5 was, sorry. I got a little bit carried away. It's hard to keep track of it. This is times 5. And the pilot, instead of facing that direction, would now face this direction. So you got that going on. And it can still roll. And now it has guns here, it got guns here, it can claw at people, and the pilot now sits in a more traditional sense. Now, with the times 5, you can also add a bed to it if you want to do that, or you can go ahead and use the components, flip this down, and tab this on top, and now you have a turret. This has no number associated with it, but there's that. Now, for times 4, Cave Smasher times 4, these actually go away. And what happens is that the pilot, goes like that, and then tabs in there just like so, and that's times 4. A little drone with some a little piloted vehicle, and of course, you know, this is adjustable too. You can adjust it if need to so that it can have a better footing on the ground while still being raised, so that it can go over some terrain if it needs to go over some terrain. And that works fairly well. Now, times 3. Times 3. Let's go into times 3 here real quick. Now, I might have miscounted. How to remember what times 3 was. I completely forgot. I got carried away. You know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at this point. It really doesn't matter. So rotate this like that. Rotate this like that. And then we connect that, and you're already seeing where this is going, probably. And this is probably times 3, and I'm just forgetting. Pilot rotates the other way. Plugs in. Switch, slides right in. There you go. And then you have times 3. Yep, this is times 3. And then it has another mode as well. But in order to access that, you had to take the legs off. Switch it the other way. You don't have to, but I prefer that way. So that it has a wider footing. And then times 1. This is times 1. Cave Smasher times 1. The alternate one was probably times 2. I just forgot what times 3 was. But here is Cave Smasher times 1. It's a freaking Zord. You know, from... And the mouth still moves. That's the crazy part. So it can still bite. It can shoot people. And it has the claws. So this is times 1. Cave Smasher times 1. And the main reason why the crane arm looked the way that it did. Now this I would do measurements for the Cave Smasher. Times 1. Cave Smasher times 1 stands approximately about 10 and 3/4 of an inch tall, I think. And centimeter measurement will be up in the corner. And yeah, that is that. I'm not gonna do any size comparisons because I don't got a lot of system. I'll be honest, I don't. And I just mainly really wanted to build an Exo-Force set, but every single time I came up with something that I wanted to build, I came up with another idea, and then I came up with another idea. And it's like, you know what? I can't build all these at once. So what if I made an Exo-Force MOC that can be whatever I wanted it to be? And hence came with the idea of the the Cave Smasher. And I had to say I was pretty satisfied with it. I had more modes for it to turn into besides just the 8. I forgot what the third one was. I honestly forgot what the third one was. I think the third one was the drone. It could have been just the drone, the third one. Let me fold this crane back. But even without the crane, you know, it still looks good. You can also like probably hook the crane to the turret if you so want to. If you want to do something like that, you can definitely do that. Or you can just attach it in the traditional sense where the axle just goes where it's supposed to go. And then you have the rotation there. You know, you have... oh God. You have options, and options are good. For the most part, options are good for the most part. Oh, and also, a thing that you could do is you can also put the bed in the back if you really want him to have a bed in the back. you can still put the bed in the back, so he can literally just reach back, drop whatever he had holding his hand, and then go back doing what it was doing. And I had this piece. This probably came from a Mars set, Life on Mars, most likely. I have no idea where it came from, or maybe it came from a city set. I have no idea, but it was a nice piece. I found it, and I wanted to use it. But anyways, what do you guys think about Cave Smasher? Do you like Cave Smasher? You want to see me make more system, because I could do more system if I really wanted to. It's just that making systems MOCs requires a lot of hyper-specific parts. It kind of reminds me of Bionicle in a way, you know, where you're like, oh man, I need this part, but in this color. And it only comes in so many sets, and that's just like Lego in general. That's just Lego in general, I think, when it comes to system. But it's nice, you know, to have so many modules that you could just create whatever you want with. And I think that's a beautiful thing, that you can make basically whatever the heck you want out of all these modules. Like, you're not limited with whatever. And I'm gonna flip this upside down and see if I can maybe make another variant, because I could probably easily make another variant. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe not. Maybe not. Or maybe, hold on, we straighten that out. And then, wait a minute, this has female to female, which can work in our favor. That has female to female. And then we do that. And, you know, it's tall, it's lanky. But that's a vehicle right there. That is a vehicle. It's weird, but it's a vehicle, and it works. And you can add arms to it. This brings me back to, like, classic Lego, honestly. The fact that you can just make whatever you want, you know, the only thing you had to do is just imagine, basically. And if something just snaps off, you could just put it back together, because that's what Lego is. It's fascinating. It truly is fascinating, and that's what made me love Lego quite a lot. Now, I did grow up with Bionicle, so it's not the same, I guess, but you get my point. And just the amount of stuff you can make is truly fascinating. Am I becoming a Lego fan? Am I becoming an adult fan of Lego that loves bricks solely now? Because Bionicle hasn't been, like, coming out in a while. And I know you can probably say, but the gift with purchase trip. Don't forget the gift with purchase trip, John, and you may be right. But just look at that. Look at that. I just made that just now. It's so satisfying to just disconnect, tap, and rearrange. Like, it doesn't even have to have the shoulders, you know? You can just literally have, like, maybe 4 mounted guns on the top, you know? And have one arm be... Okay, there's no clearance for that, sadly. But, you know, what if you don't want the hands to be just hands? What if you just want very wide shoulders? And you can have the gun right there. So he has, like, a gun and a claw arm. Like, you're not limited. It's very fun. And unique. It's a fun experience, and I'm sorry if this video is pandering. I was planning to rush through these, but it's truly fascinating that even as I make this video, I still find a way to go ahead and make another mode. So I guess this might be times 9. This could be times 9, honestly. But anyways, I won't keep you guys anymore. This was a fun video to make. I'm planning to make more weird ones, maybe even with more system. Maybe some more Exo-Force, or maybe some other themes. Just let me know in the comments what you guys would like to see. But this was a lot of fun. I had to say, it was difficult to get all the colors. This only comes in one set. I know like a few people that aren't familiar with Bionicle look at this and like, where did this technic beam come from? This came in one set. This came from a Bionicle set back in 2001. The more you know. Same with that part in there, the spring. But yeah, if you like this video, why not give it a like? If you want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe. And if you want to follow me on any social media outlets, links in the description down below. But that is all for now. I hope you all enjoy, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys!